Hello, my friends. Welcome to Sister Friends Cups and Conversation. I'm your host, Teresa Cooper, and I'm glad that you've joined me. Today, we're going to have a conversation about mothers and daughters and their relationships. Come on, get a friend, get some coffee, some water, some tea. Let's sit at the table and let's talk about mothers and daughters and their relationships. Let's go. Welcome to Sister Friends, Cups, and Conversation. I'm your host, Teresa Cooper, and I'm glad that you've joined me today. I got my co-host, Catherine Young.
Good to be in the house again.
Yes, absolutely. And this table is really special today. I have some really dear friends who have joined me all the way from Jonesboro, Louisiana.
Yes.
And so we have Miss Angelia Jones.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
It's good to have you at the table.
It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
And Angelia is a teacher.
Correct.
And what grade do you teach?
I currently teach 5th grade at Jonesboro Hodge Elementary School. I've been there at this particular school for 2 years, and I am enjoying the experience there.
Okay. And then there's another little secret I got to tell you. This is a Grambling table.
Yes, it is.
These are Grambling alumni.
That's correct.
At the table with you.
That's right.
We won't get them started.
Okay.
And then we have for the very first time, Pastor Rhonda Stewart.
Yes.
Good to have you.
I am so excited to be here.
Yes.
Just so elated, to be at the sisters table.
Yes. So this is, as you can see, we're going to have great conversation.
Yeah.
And our cup for today is our Sister Friends Cup.
Yes. Okay.
And so sister to
Cups and
sister together,
conversations.
that's our theme this year. But sister friends are real friends.
That's
Let's
right.
drink to that.
Okay. Yeah. Drink all my
So we're drinking. I have water in my cup today, and if you would like a Sister Friends cup, you can visit our website and you can order one, and you can just be a part of the sisterhood. We are actively growing, Kathy, the platform.
That's
yes,
right. Going all over the world.
absolutely.
And people, I was telling Pastor T that a lady saw me in Walmart. She said, "You on that show?" And I said, "What show?" She said, "That sister show. Y'all do good." So I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, so we're wanting to grow the
much
community.
fun.
So if you get a chance right now, like and share, click the bell on YouTube so that you can get all of our notifications, and just, join the conversation, leave a comment, tell us what your favorite episode has been. And if you're on the podcast and you're listening, thank you for taking out 30 minutes of your day every Wednesday and joining the conversation. So ladies, today we're going to be talking about mothers and daughters.
Yes.
And so we're going to be talking about mothers and daughters and relationships. I have one daughter, and I have this little plaque at the house that says, "A daughter is a little girl who grows up to become a friend." Yes. And so, and every time I go by that little frame and it has our little picture in it, and I just think, that is a true statement.
That's right.
And
It really is.
back in the
That's
day
good.
when I had her, she's like 34, I believe. She's 34. Your mind is not on that. You don't really think about that. This little baby's going to grow up and she's going to be like my bestest friend. You just don't think in those terms. And then to be at this stage in life and to hear or see that statement, and then to know that it's true is a blessing.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about that, about mother and daughter relationships. My story has had a lot of, turns and highs and lows. But at the end of the day, I can say that I'm blessed.
Yes.
But not everybody has, those outcomes. And the goal, I would say, ladies, is to have a daughter who's a little girl that grows up to be a friend. That is the goal. That is the standard.
Yeah.
That's the standard of by which we invest.
Yes.
Everything that we're doing from birth to adulthood, we're doing it with that intent in mind. At some point, your mind wants to shift to that, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Can you mark the moment? We'll talk to Miss Angelia as a daughter, because she's the daughter at the table with her mom. But we'll ask the mothers here. Was there a specific moment in your parenting where your mind shifted and you thought, I got to pull it together here because I want her to be my friend later on in life. Like right now, I know I got to do the mama thing, but the way I'm mommying and the way I'm parenting, I'm doing it from the angle of when it's all over, I want her to still be around, want to be around, enjoy being around. And that's a difference. So can you mark a moment? Do you think?
Oh yes. Like I said, I have 2 girls.
Okay, yes.
And so both of those girls are so precious to me.
Yeah.
One that's 40-something.
Okay, you looking good, mama.
Sure do.
And then the other one is 30-something.
Okay.
And so we've grown together as friends, but there was some times where it was rocky, and we've had to have some conversations.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, but my goal, like you say, was us to become. We're becoming. Everybody is becoming. Becoming friends.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel. But it started as a little girl.
Yes.
It really started as a little girl, that you become, that friend, and then it grows into adulthood.
Yes, absolutely. Kathy, how about you?
Well, I always laugh and I say, I'm so glad God didn't give me what I deserved, because I was terrible to my mother. And man, my mother didn't become good friends until I was in my 30s. So my aim with my daughter, who is a totally different personality from me, was to build that friendship young. And give her what I didn't get from my mom in regards to compassion and love. And it wasn't that my mama wasn't that. She was just raised in a different generation. So I just wanted to give her something different than what I had, to where she could trust me. And she was in her 20s. Well, really in her 16, 17, 18, and so it grew into that. So I'm grateful for that.
Yes, absolutely. So, achieving those outcomes, I would say, takes deliberate action.
Yes.
And it takes deliberate action, in word and in behavior.
Yes.
So the two have to marry. You can't just, you know what I mean? You have to be very intentional that you're wanting to build a relationship with your daughter. At some point, I mean, you're always going to, your parenting is for lifetime.
Right.
But how you parent has to be very deliberate, and you have to evolve in that parenting. So Angie, we're going to put you on the spot. So I'll throw the same question at you. For as a daughter, can you mark a moment with your mom where you realized there may be things that you have to do if you're going to want to be around in your 20s, 30s, when your babies come around? Are you, because we all know those people that once they graduated from high school, they hit the road, Jack, and they was never coming back. And then there's those people that they went off to college, and it was like pulling teeth. They would rather go with their friends to their friend's house for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, but they weren't considering, going home for whatever the reasons were, So were you tracking like that at your age, or it wasn't even on your radar?
Well, I was very intentional about being under my mom and pulling from her, and her being my friend. Actually, I'm just sitting here remembering a moment where I had one of my homegirls and I had got into it. And she didn't want to be my friend anymore. And I told her, I said, you know what? You don't have to be my friend. My mama, my friend. And I had to be at that time around 13 or 14 years old, where I literally spoke it out my mouth that my mom was my friend. And from there, our relationship just continued to build and grow stronger and stronger. Yes. And then you mentioned something about going to college and, coming back home. I was that child that they had a hard time getting rid of.
Okay.
I moved out, moved back in, moved out, moved back in, literally around 4 times. They could not get rid of me, and they were praying, Lord, when she gonna leave? Yes, I never would leave because I loved the relationship that my mom and I had now. It was not always perfect,
right? Yes.
But she was a true friend to me. Yes. She was unconditionally, unjudgmental, that type of friend to me.
Yes. Wow, that's beautiful. So let me
Do we
ask,
have any tissues on that?
No, we don't have tissue on the set right now. Right. But our director, he might, hand us some if we really need. We really need some. Right. If you're watching today, we're talking about mother and daughter relationships and building strong and secure relationships to where we can evolve into friendship down the road. Let me ask you ladies this, because not everybody has been blessed to have the investment, the time, or even the know-how to build the type of relationships that we're talking about. I want to ask you, and you have to be honest, did you ever display toxic behavior with your daughter?
Yes.
Whether it was unknowingly or it was toxic because it was passed down generationally. It's what you knew. Yes. And you didn't know that it was toxic. You know what I mean? And so you had to have a light bulb moment. We'll ask the moms, and then we'll ask Angelia.
Okay, yeah.
So moms?
I did. I found myself doing a lot of the same things to my daughter what my mom did to me. And I had that coming to myself. Okay, you didn't like this when your mama did it to you, so why are you doing it to her? And then the light had to cut on and say, you know what? I have to change the way I parent her in this area.
Okay.
Even though she was a different personality, she would just went along. She wouldn't have been like me, rebellious, fighting it back. But I didn't want her to have that in her.
Okay.
I think that sometimes as parents, we know what we don't like about ourselves.
Right.
And when we don't like it about ourselves, I didn't want to see my daughter suffer through that which I had been through.
Yeah.
So I had to make up in my mind, I'm going to intentionally make it better for her.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this, because, I know you, and I know that you're like myself. You have the ability to have self-reflection. So was that something that you sat back and you discovered for yourself, or did somebody have to tell you, or was it you're reading the Word of God, or how did you get to that point that this is not good?
Yeah.
I'm doing this. This is something generational, and I need to stop it.
I had that self-reflection after I had did my thing, perpetrated the crime, and I looked at how I would have responded. I would have been back at my mom, and I looked at her face, and I saw the sadness. And when I sat back and I reflect, I had to go and apologize. John, I'm sorry.
Oh, so you apologize.
I apologize.
So that would be a strategy for someone that's watching. They may say, well, how did you stop? How did you break the cycle? Apologize.
Because growing up in my time, it was like I said I meant it, and that's what I meant.
Right.
Don't ask me nothing, don't say nothing, and you were still broken.
Right.
And those feelings, anything that I ever had to carry as a young woman or a child, I was intentional to make sure she didn't have to carry those things.
Okay.
So if it meant apologizing to her and telling her how sorry I was, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And she always received your apology?
But she was always would tell me, yeah, you hurt me. She was that way like me. She would say, that did hurt my feelings. Mom, I don't like when you do that.
Okay.
And so that helped me even to pay closer attention. Okay, she telling me this is not what she liked. And I'm not just going to give it to her because I'm the mama.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. Yes. How about you, Miss Rhonda?
Well, my situation, because I didn't grow up with my parent.
Okay.
My mother, I was given away as a child.
Okay.
And so I had so much that I wanted to do for my girls.
Yes.
And I just, went out of my way to try to if I did something wrong or said something wrong to them, of course, I wanted to apologize and make that up.
Okay.
Because I guess they are all that I had.
Yes.
And so my intention, I always said that there are boundaries that you have to have.
Yes.
You got to set boundaries.
Yeah, and you believe that even with your children.
Yes.
Now she said something right there.
Boundaries.
Because a lot of parents don't, I brought you in the world. This is my house. This is my food. This is my world. And boundaries. What boundaries?
Right.
So the fact that you're saying that you had to set boundaries, you knew that.
Yes, I had to set boundaries with myself because of the hurt that I had.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I set boundaries for them, to be able to come to me. Because sometimes it is hard for a kid
Yes, absolutely.
to come to their mother, and they'll go to someone else, or they'll try something else, or they'll feel like I can't talk to you about that.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
But
that's true.
but I always said I'm not gonna love them unconditional. That's one of the things too. That's a boat.
Yeah.
That's a nut in a boat. To kind of build that relationship and have that relationship is you have to have no grudges.
Yes.
You have to and you have to intentionally say I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing
Yeah,
there.
that's
it's
huge.
when a mother can say that, hey, wasn't no instructions with
That's
you.
right.
Right.
That's right.
You know what? When you came out of the womb, there were no instructions.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so, yes, I made a mistake. Yes, I didn't say that just correctly.
Right.
Yeah, and so those setting up those parameters and nuts and bolts, and being a forgiving, trying to ask God to help me. Look, hey, forgive me.
Yes.
Mama is not right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mama didn't do that just right.
And that's
And that's very powerful.
Yes.
So if you're listening today, really what we're saying is, exercise the ability to have humility, even with your children, to say, I was wrong, or to apologize, to always have that open door of communication, and not just have that, I'm the parent, I'm right.
Yes.
And it doesn't take anything from you. Yet you are absolutely the parent, which means you're in control. You know what I mean? And so being in control really empowers you to be able to provide the grace and the mercy,
That's wonderful.
and the opportunity to be heard and to be listened to. That's huge.
Yeah.
So, Angelia, how about you as far as Toxicity, especially when as young people and growing up and young adults, the influence of our friends and having privy to their relationships with their parents and their moms, your girlfriends, has, toxic behavior showed up, and how did you handle it from a child's perspective?
Yeah. My mom said something about being raised by another family. Her mother, of course, her biological mother did not raise her.
Okay.
And so with that comes a lot of trauma.
Yes.
A lot of things that she didn't even know that she was dealing with that was passed on to me.
Right.
And so for me, I dealt with a lot of rejection and a lot of abandonment that was passed on generationally.
Okay.
We're talking about 3 or 4 generations of biological mothers not raising their daughters.
Okay.
That's right.
So she was the 4th generation that was not raised by her mother, which then I dealt with a lot of the rejection and abandonment from that.
Yeah.
And so the recourse of that was me throwing fits, fighting. I was a big bully. As a child.
I can't believe it.
I know, can you?
No.
Yes, I was a bully.
Angelia the bully.
Yes, I would get you before you got me. Okay. That was me, okay? You can't believe it? The Lord has saved me. This is what saving grace looks like, okay?
Okay.
And so from that, I was very toxic.
Okay.
And so at the age of 9, I received the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's when my life began to shift.
Okay.
Yes.
But it wasn't until about 2018 that I realized the recourse of what happened in my childhood, how it affected me.
Okay.
Yes.
And the toxicity that was
Yes.
coming forward.
Yes.
And so, did it affect my friendships? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it affected friends. But the Lord always gave me grace.
Yeah.
And always put people in my life to really pull out that goodness in me.
Yeah.
From my friends. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, y'all
absolutely.
see the good in me?
Yes.
So, again, a lot of times we don't know what's been passed on.
Right.
But we see it manifest.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's,
right.
that's
the
what
truth.
happened.
Yeah.
And because my next question was going to be, did you all seek any type of intervention, any outside intervention to help you, especially with you not, having a role model of knowing
course.
what that looks like?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I went through counseling.
Okay.
With my own personal
Yeah.
self, and of course we owned a counseling agency.
Yes. Okay.
And so by us being in that field, it really pulled me in
Yeah.
to even study more
Yes.
on my own behavior.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that interesting how our traumas and what has hurt us, how it propels us in ways sometimes we don't even realize it, that it's pushed us into careers or into spaces that are directly connected to what what our trauma was or what we had dealt with.
Yes.
And so you going into counseling and helping other people deal with their emotional issues is most likely
helped-
directly,
It directly helped me.
Yeah, it helped you,
Yeah.
right?
It helped me to uncover.
Yes.
Sometimes we can cover up,
That's right.
and we don't mean to.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
We don't mean to, but because God has to shine a light.
right.
And
And
that's
once He
good.
shines that light on it, then you begin to. I think you experience healing.
Right.
I know you do.
Yeah.
You begin to experience that healing that you need. And so when I begin to study this and to study myself,
Yeah.
then I became a better woman.
Yes.
And you become a better mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
You become a better mom once you know who you are.
Right.
When you find out who you are as a person,
Yeah.
then you can become a better mother.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because mothers are influential.
Yes.
And we set the groundwork for examples.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
we
right.
are the example of what you supposed to look like
Yes.
when you get at a certain adulthood.
Yes.
And so when that happens, when we continue to pour into our own selves,
That's good.
then we can, unlock others.
Yes,
in
that's
our
good.
children.
But you know what I love what you said? You were willing
Yeah.
to make up that difference because you knew in some areas you were defected in some
Yes.
areas. And I think when we come to that realization, something is wrong with me. Especially when the Lord get to working on
hear
you.
me?
He magnified, he show you that space in yourself
Right.
that you need to fix. And then, but you got the old school mamas,
Yeah.
especially in the South, they still don't do that gal like that. Let her do this, let her do that, or they talk, you gonna do this, but it's not the same parenting.
Right.
So you have to learn to
Adjust.
parent, adjust, and then now we are all learning how to parent our adult daughters.
Right. Right.
Which is a whole different, because we can't tell them what to do no more.
Right.
We can only advise them and impart
Right.
wisdom. And it's
Right.
up to them.
Right. And I love what Miss Rhonda said, which she said, you can't really be the parent or the mother that you need to be
Yes.
to your daughter until you start with yourself
Within,
first.
that's good.
So you have to
Yes.
really have that self-reflection, and you have to course correct or figure out
That's
what's
right.
going on with you first, and then starting from you, then your children will benefit
Right.
from the work that you. Because sometimes what happens is, as moms, we focus on the children. We're so consumed with the children, and we
So true.
we neglect ourselves. We neglect our mental health, or we
Right.
neglect our emotional state, thinking that everything has to be about meeting the needs of the children.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's a reverse. You have to be whole. You have to nurture. You have to nourish. You have to feed yourself first.
Yes.
And from that space, your children get the benefit.
That's right.
You know.
Get the
Hart Ramsey made this quote, and I thought it fit this episode. It said, "It says when someone willfully wrongs you, you are not required to lie about it in the name of love.
Wow.
Lying about their poor behavior doesn't protect them.
Wow.
It enables them.
Yes.
You are not required in the name of love." And how many times have we done that in the name of love?
Trying to protect.
Just accept or trying to protect or to cover wrong behavior, you know. And what happens is we enable that person, that bad behavior, that bully, and we're not required to do that.
Right. Right.
What does that look like really in a mother-daughter relationship? I know, like with my daughter, we've grown to the place where she'll just say, "Is you talking to me as my employer? Are you talking to me as my mama?
Yes.
Or are you talking to me as the pastor?
Yes.
I need to know which one."
Yes.
Based on how you talking to me, that's how I'm gonna respond. I need to correct my response.
Yes.
So
we
sometimes
can definitely relate
about
to that.
Yes,
Right.
Because
absolutely.
we have 3 roles, and we were talking about that when we were coming up here today as well. Angela?
Yes, and, you know, we've worked together in business. We've worked together in ministry.
Right.
And, of course, we are mother and daughter. And, you know, some of the things that happen is, you know, she'll get to fussing, and then she'll say, you know, "This is your pastor."
the Holy Ghost,
Yeah, this
the
your
Holy
pastor.
Ghost
And I'm
voice.
like, well, hold on now. Now you saying it's your pastor with your mouth, but you giving me that mother face. I don't know who I'm talking to. You know?
Yes.
You know, so, you know, we do cross those roles a lot of times, and it happens,
Yeah.
you know. But yes, of course, you know, one of the things that's important is just, you know, having a space to be truthful.
Yes.
You know, and to be open. I think that that's important, you know, both allowing, you know, "No, Mom, I don't like how you said that."
Right.
You know, oh,
And my
wait.
daughter that's like her
Yes.
favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Mama, you need to work on that. How
Yeah,
on that
exactly.
approach.
You know,
This is my counselor right over there. And she'll go, "Mother," and I hate her when she says that. You know, she'll go, "Mother," and I'm
She
going.
gets irritated
Yeah, I
by
get
it.
irritated. You know, when she says "Mother," and she has that little thing like, "That's not right. That's not how you're supposed to say that to me." And so I think both of that mother and daughter relationship, they have to have those little bolts and nuggets.
Right. And you have to have
To
respect.
each other.
And
Respect.
You have to have
Respect.
And you have to
adulthood.
know what to say and when to say it.
Right.
Because, you know, my mom has 4 girls, and each of us interact with her differently
Yes.
based on our relationship. You know what I mean? And so knowing your place
daughter.
and knowing where you're at in your relationship with your mom
Absolutely.
is based on how you can respond or how you communicate. And so that's important.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
and not to have those illusions of what the relationship is when it really isn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Good. That's
Right.
good.
You know, I had to go to my mom when I was
good,
in my
girl.
early 30s and say, "You know what? You hurt me when you do this." And she didn't hear that till she was in the church, because I could never had said it before. And she'd be like,
Before
"Build the
Jesus.
bridge and get over it. You're going to be all right." but when Jesus came into our
Jackie
life,
said, build a bridge.
Miss Jackie was something else. Miss Jackie was something else.
That's a good one. You
Yes.
can write
use
that
that
down.
But-
T-shirt.
But you know what?
Build
Build
it
the bridge and get over it.
it.
And then it left you like, "Mama, really? I said what I said. I'm the mother, you the daughter." But as we grew in Christ together, it came to the place where, "Mama, I don't really like when you do this." But God also, when God is in your heart, he brings you to a place of respect and honor.
Right.
No matter who your mom is.
So let me ask you I'm going to ask each of you this one thing. So what's the one thing you wish your mother knew?
I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Okay, well, I'll say what's the one thing you wish your daughter knew?
That
Good or
it's-
bad?
It's whatever, but it's the one thing you wish your daughter knew. What would it be?
That she knows that that I'm not always perfect. I'm not always, I'm just thinking in my head.
Yeah.
I know a mother, but look, I don't know it all. Sometimes your parents, a parent, you want to be everything.
Yeah, you can.
You really do.
Yeah.
You really want to be able to do everything, for your kids or girls, especially, to give them everything that they want, but in answers, but you can't.
Yes.
What's the one thing you wish your daughter knew, Kathy?
Pretty much what Pastor Rhonda say, because I done told her, everything, I'm your ride or die. I'm here when nobody else. But just to know, I would say the same thing. Mama don't know everything. Some things you gonna have to step out in the water and do.
Right.
Because your daughters really start believing you they superhero.
Right.
You gonna always have that back. My mama got my back. She knows that. But what you gonna do when mama not here no more?
Yeah.
You gotta survive.
Okay. I would say to my daughter, see your beauty without a compliment and without a mirror.
That's good.
And that I used to be your age.
Yes.
So you're not doing this, alone.
Yes.
Because I can remember what it was like to be, 34. What's the one thing you wish your mom knew?
Other than the fact that I stole her car at 15.
She comes to the house and get all the groceries.
You shop at her house.
I shop, honey.
You
Bring
shop
a bag, bring my own bag.
She shops. Yes.
But, the one thing that I would want my mom to know, and she's here, so I want you to know how proud I am of you.
Oh,
I think I'm going to cry.
You're not going to make me cry. I'm very proud of her because she have overcome so much.
Yeah.
A lot of generational things that you didn't even know that you were overcoming, and that those generational cycles have been broken because of you, and I don't have to experience that. Neither does Angel, because you have created a new history.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
I'm trying to.
So as you can see, mother and daughter relationships, they go deep, they go wide. They're a constant work in progress. There's no perfect mother and daughter relationship. There's just only perfect love.
That's
And love will make you go the distance.
Yes, it will.
Love will make you, fight for what is right and for the love. And so there's a lot of forgiveness.
Yes,
You can't operate in unforgiveness in mother and daughter relationships. I found that I want to say when I got about 40, there was just a wash of it felt like cool water of just mercy and grace and understanding came over me of what it took for my mom to raise 4 girls and go to college and have a degree and to be successful. And so all the little petty things that you may be holding or thinking about, or why they did this and why she did that, it just became irrelevant because it was just something about 40 that I had lived enough to know now. I don't know how in the world she did it. 'Cause I survived. I did it with 2. She had 4.
And 4 girls.
Right. And made it look easy. Yes.
Made it look easy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, mothers and daughters relationships are worth the work because little girls grow up to be best friends. We want to thank you for joining us for this episode of Sister Friends Cups and Conversation. Be blessed. For joining me today. What a powerful conversation we had with mothers and daughters and relationships. I believe it was very meaningful. I believe that we shared openly and we had some very powerful principles on how to strengthen our mother and daughter relationships. I want to encourage you to follow us across all of our social media platforms. Listen to us on our podcast. Follow us on IG. We want to grow the community, and I'm so glad that you are a part of this conversation. I'm believing for you and with you that your mother-daughter relationships are going to be healthy. They're going to be strong. Remember, little girls are your daughters who grow up to be your friends. God bless you, and don't forget, Something to Sip On is next. This is Something to Sip On. I have a quote that says, "Contaminated oil has no sustaining power, yet pure oil is ceaseless." And I want to say, I've been quoting him a lot during this season 6. That's my husband's quote. Contaminated oil has no sustaining power. Keep your oil pure. Don't degrade it with outside particles or with manufactured, substances. When your oil is pure, it is ceaseless.
Yes.
It will last. It's lasting. And when you parent your children, especially your daughters, from a place of purity, you'll always have fresh oil, fresh wisdom, fresh faith, fresh love, fresh mercy for them, because you've not allowed anything to contaminate that oil concerning your daughter. So that's my something to sip on. Miss Kathy, what are you sipping on?
I read a quote that said, and you repeated it, you said, life doesn't come with a manual, it comes with a mother. And you know how we always say you only get one.
You only get one.
So whatever relationship you might have with your mom, or even if you might not have a relationship at all, be intentional. Because good benefits come in life when we honor, even if they didn't honor you. Show them that honor and that respect.
Yes. Miss Rhonda, what are you sipping on? What's your last word?
I'm saying that what is a healthy mother-daughter relationship? And a healthy daughter relationship demonstrates love, even in the face of conflict.
Yes.
And so when we can say that we can continue to move forward with love in our hearts and not showing grudges and holding things, I believe that is a healthy relationship.
Absolutely. Well, Miss Angelia, what kind of advice can you offer the daughters?
I would say to the daughters, know that mommy is not perfect.
Yeah.
She's gonna make mistakes. She's not gonna always say it right. She may not do it right, but know that through all of that she loves you unconditionally, and that just to continue to just love and trust mommy. That's something to sip on.
Yes, it is. Well, as you can see, this table was filled with a lot of wisdom. And we just pray that you have a great week and just ponder all these things and share this episode. If you know someone that's that's having a struggle right now with their mom, or the struggle with their daughter and the relationship is strained, share this episode. It could offer hope and healing to them. And so thank you for joining us today at Something to Sip On.